What is going on, guys? My name is Tubby and welcome to the WWE Fast Lane prediction video. We're going to talk about all the matches. Maybe you're watching with a friend, maybe your friend doesn't know what's going on. We're going to explain the matches a little bit in depth and talk about them in this video. So the opening match is going to be a tag team match on the pre-show between Swann, Akira Tozawa, taking on Braun, Kendrick, and Noam with Alicia Fox. Now, the Cruiserweights kind of getting a showcase on the pre-show. I'm perfectly fine with it, because mainly they just have matches right now on the show. Really, Neville and Jack Gallagher are the only ones that have really gotten a storyline. Akira Tozawa recently been picking it up with Braun Kendrick. So if you're wondering what is this match all about, well, Alicia Fox is after Noam Dar, the same way that Carmella is after James Ellsworth over on SmackDown Live. And on Raw, Akira Tozawa and Braun Kendrick are in a feud where Braun Kendrick's trying to teach the man Akira Tozawa some lessons. Now, in this match, I don't really know who's going to win. Does it really matter either way? I say Swann and Akira Tozawa pick up the victory here. I could definitely see Braun Kendrick winning to keep Akira Tozawa down. Maybe eventually Akira Tozawa wins in like a ladder match at WrestleMania that was leaked from the card. I don't exactly know. But to give all four of these men a featured showcase on the pay-per-view at least makes sense on paper, because later on in the show, we have the Cruiserweight Championship match between Jack Gallagher and Neville. So incorporating in as many of the Cruiserweight guys as possible, I'm perfectly fine with a tag team match of this caliber, because for the most part on Monday Night Raw, they've been in matches, tag team matches, or singles matches, so it makes sense. So let's start off with a Cruiserweight match between Neville and Jack Gallagher. Now, Jack Gallagher I am a fan of, and I have been a fan since the Cruiserweight tournament. Jack Gallagher's got a very specific style of wrestling that I think a lot of WWE fans aren't used to or haven't seen in a long time. Slowing it down, being a ring technician. Now, some fans may be slow to respond to this, while some fans are really loving the fact that Neville finally has character and identity and personality behind him since his heel turn. Here I see Neville blowing through Jack Gallagher. I think they'll at least give us an interesting match, maybe some cool spots. But Neville is going to go on to WrestleMania as Cruiserweight Champion, and we're going to see him, hopefully. I'd love to see a big Cruiserweight match. This could be the year that the Cruiserweights take over for the Intercontinental Championship ladder match, and it would only make sense to me. So I'm going to say Neville picks up the victory for the Cruiserweight title. Then let's talk about one of the women's matches out of the two that are on this card between Sasha Banks and Nia Jax. Now, personally, I thought Bayley would have gone through Nia Jax before she beat Charlotte for the title. However, WWE seems keen on making Charlotte undefeated at pay-per-views. The one thing that a lot of people seem to miss or wonder, well, how is she never lost on pay-per-view if she's lost the title twice? It's always been on a Raw show. It has never actually been on pay-per-view. When you put it on pay-per-view, Charlotte's got a streak. Just like The Undertaker was 21-0 at WrestleMania, Charlotte is 16-0. The former 16-time champion like her father at pay-per-views. So if she loses here, the streak will officially become 16-0. However, if something were funky to happen and maybe they can wiggle their way out of a loss, they could make it 16-0 and possibly 1 for a draw or a tie or something. That way she could still keep her streak going. Now, I don't know if WWE needs a reason to keep this streak going, if WWE needs a 16-0 or they want it to become 17-0, but I would not be against Bayley losing the title here. Now, me personally, in my build, when I thought about this months and months ago, I saw Nia Jax kind of being a force for the Authority. I saw Nia Jax kind of coming in like a wrecking ball. And then the week that Mick Foley wasn't there and Nia wasn't there, instead it was Dana Brooke, only added speculation and fuel to the fire, because the next week when Foley came back, Nia Jax was there going after Sasha Banks. And it seems like Stephanie McMahon is in control of Nia Jax, using her when she wants to take care of a problem, because if you know Sasha, try to step up to Stephanie McMahon. Now, personally, I would have liked to see Bayley versus Nia Jax at this pay-per-view, and Bayley finding a way to win, for Bayley to eventually go on to WrestleMania for the girlhood dream. Except now Bayley is champion, but the storyline going in is with Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks has kind of been on her beck and call. She's been willing to go to bat for her, and now she's getting destroyed for it. Are we going to get a new side of Sasha Banks, maybe a little bit more heelish Sasha Banks, that eventually turns on Bayley for everything that she did? Imagine a fatal four-way at WrestleMania where Bayley beats Sasha Banks, and the next night when she's going to celebrate, Sasha finally snaps and realizes Bayley took away her WrestleMania moment, trying to make Bayley happy for the fans. So honestly, I say Nia Jax could get the victory here. I think to further the storyline with Sasha Banks realizing what she's trying to do for Bayley, Nia Jax looking dominant would make sense. Now, there's some people that have speculated that Nia isn't ready yet, or the fact that Nia isn't where somebody like Braun Strowman is for the men's division, how they were able to elevate them. Nia is a little bit more flat, and people worry about that. Me, I'm not so worried just yet. I think Nia still definitely has a lot to grow in, but for the most part, I like Nia Jax. So I'm going to say Nia Jax picks up the victory here to further Sasha Banks. Then we move on to Bayley versus Charlotte. Now, we did talk a little bit about the fact that Charlotte is 16-0 on pay-per-views, and the only time she's lost are on Monday Night Raws against Sasha Banks and Bayley. Now, should she break this pay-per-view streak? And I think that's a real question. WWE can continue to market it and say she's 16-0 on pay-per-views. So if she's 16-1, it kind of loses its lust and its grandeur. If she was able to win here, get her title back before Mania, you can further the storyline between Bayley and Sasha, because Sasha could get taken out, not be able to get interfere in the match at Fast Lane in any way, shape, or form, and to prove Bayley was not, in fact, ready, and she would not have won without Sasha Banks. So for Charlotte to win back the title, a lot of people see it as flip-flopping. And I joked about this last year, about how WWE is going to try to give as many title reigns as possible because we don't know how long the careers of performers will last. So giving them a Hall of Fame-worthy career in 2 or 3 years, such as making Charlotte a 5-time champion already, like Booker T, the 5-time WCW champion, would only make sense. So Charlotte, I'm going to say Charlotte picks up the W here. I think Bayley could, in fact, retain, and I'm not saying she won't. I wanted her to retain, but I think to further Bayley versus Sasha to create some drama, I say you have Charlotte win. Now, the only opposite to this would be, I would say Bayley could win if, in fact, at WrestleMania, she beats Sasha. The whole build is Bayley and Sasha having each other's back, but then right when Sasha's about to win, Bayley at WrestleMania could come in, hit her with the Bayley to belly, and pin Sasha Banks, costing her, and Sasha could turn the very next night. Bayley comes out like, friend, you're happy for me, right? And Sasha's like, nope. And takes her out, right? So I'm going to say either way. It's not really a prediction. I could just see it going either way. Then let's talk about Braun Strowman versus Roman Reigns. Now, Braun Strowman is a beast. Braun Strowman got repackaged thanks to enhancement talent, thanks to Triple H's strategy that a lot of people crapped on. Why do you have him keep facing local talent? Eventually, he wanted to fight. Sami Zayn couldn't overcome it. Braun was looking dominant. And now Braun Strowman is going up against Roman Reigns. Now, a lot of people have already written off this match saying Roman is going to win. I personally don't know. And even if Roman was to beat Braun Strowman, it would make sense. I know a lot of people have contempt and hate for Roman Reigns, but if you think about it, Roman Reigns is a former 3-time WWE World Heavyweight Champion. So Braun Strowman losing to him isn't necessarily the worst thing in the world. You know, in past WWE, you could write off a loss to somebody because of their pedigree. Well, even though you don't like Roman Reigns, he is a pedigreed champion. He's a 3-time champion who's beat the likes of Triple H, among others, for the biggest title of them all. So, Braun Strowman losing wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. However, I want Braun to just come out and lay Roman Reigns the fuck out. I want Braun to be a wrecking ball. I want Braun to put on a great match, and right when Roman's about to win, I want Braun just to end it. I want Braun to get the W here. I think Braun Strowman beating down Roman Reigns could lead so much speculation to what he's going to do at WrestleMania. I would not be opposed to Braun Strowman being in the Battle Royal if he was to clear everybody out, but I think Braun could have a much bigger match at WrestleMania, and it'll be interesting to see where it goes. Based on the recent build, I would not be upset whatsoever if it was Braun Strowman versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania. I love Braun Strowman now, and I've been on the train with Braun Strowman for years. Well, I've been on the train with Braun Strowman for at least a year. I mean, if you stay with him in his cross-eyed days, you're only just ready for anything. So then let's talk about the tag team match between Luke Gallows and Karl Anderson taking on Enzo and Big Cass. Now, Sheamus and Cesaro, who were kind of put together, forced together by Mick Foley. They were in a best-of-7 match last year, and they couldn't decide a winner, so eventually they got put as a tag team. They had some struggles back and forth, not really having each other's back, but when they did, they won the tag team championships. Now, unfortunately, they would go on to lose them, and they would lose them to Karl Anderson and Luke Gallows. By doing that, it put further stress on Sheamus and Cesaro, although it seems they have each other's back, until the whole Cesaro versus Samoa Joe thing happened, where Cesaro said, no, I got this. furthering that storyline. But now Enzo and Big Cass, who are also Triple H's guys from NXT, are right in the title picture. Honestly, I think Enzo and Big Cass winning at WrestleMania may mean a little bit more, but I wouldn't be that upset based on what happened on SmackDown with AJ Styles losing to John Cena. If the Bullet Club a month before WrestleMania were to lose to a fan favorite such as Enzo and Big Cass, maybe we can get the more heelish Luke Gallows and Karl Anderson, along with the more heelish AJ Styles after getting screwed by Shane McMahon, and we could finally get a club reunion. But in a huge swerve, as they're starting to reunite, Finn Balor could take out AJ Styles, and that could be months of feuds with a trade later on down the line. So in this match, I definitely could see it going either way. I'm going to go ahead and say Enzo and Big Cass get the W here. I know it doesn't really make sense, but I want Luke and Karl to finally snap. They finally got the titles. They're heading into WrestleMania, and they get screwed. And then they form a faction, and the club's back. That's what I want. Don't judge me. That's what I want. Then we got Sami Zayn taking on Samoa Joe. Very excited for this match, and here's a couple reasons why. All year I've said the storyline for Raw in the main event has been about best friends. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens have massive history. And I was hoping for a WrestleMania match between them involved with Chris Jericho, because Chris Jericho was Kevin Owens' best friend until Kevin Owens turned on Chris Jericho, and he really showed he was the prize fighter. Now, Sami Zayn, on the other hand, is kind of coming to the rescue of Seth Rollins, who was taken out of action. By doing so, Triple H sicked Samoa Joe on him, and now he's in a match with him at the pay-per-view. Now, I'll be honest with you. I wouldn't be opposed if Sami Zayn was to get a victory or possibly a loss, and then go on to face Braun Strowman. And I joked about this. A Braun Strowman 2 out of 3 falls match at WrestleMania with Sami Zayn, where Sami finally beats Braun Strowman. I would be perfectly all for that, and that would be a match I'd be okay with. But in this one, I think a lot of people would have an issue with Samoa Joe losing. I think if Samoa Joe was to win, it should be at the hands of the Authority to make Sami more of an underdog. Say Sami Zayn is about to beat Samoa Joe, he's going to do it, but maybe Triple H's music or somebody he's going to eventually feud with at WrestleMania gets involved, allows Samoa Joe to look super strong. Although some people may complain that Samoa Joe getting interference or help, similar to how we did in Roman Reigns' match, that it would be a problem. But honestly, I don't think it is. Samoa Joe needs to be booked to look super strong. Maybe he can lose and afterwards he snaps and just absolutely decimates Sami Zayn. I'd be okay with that too. But just right now, I want Sami Zayn to get the boyhood dream at WrestleMania. So I'm going to say Samoa Joe picks up the W here. Something will happen where Sami Zayn, again, gaining more status in the underdog role, trying to go up against the Authority or trying to go up against the powers that be. And then comes time for the main event between Kevin Owens and Goldberg. Now, a lot of people are really worried about this match, saying, can Goldberg go? He's 50. Can he do all this? And I'm just like, bro, do you see Goldberg at 50? Do you see how good of shape he is, the interviews he gives, how much he keeps his body under control, how much cardio he does, how much lifting he does? I don't think it's really fair to be judging Goldberg on what he can or cannot do yet. We've only seen a little clip with him against Brock Lesnar, and then we saw the Royal Rumble. We don't know if he can go very long. Although I will say this, and a lot of people are right, if he can beat Brock Lesnar this fast and this mightily, something should happen to further it. Now, pretty much everybody has written off this match already, saying Goldberg is in fact going to win the title and head on to WrestleMania against Brock Lesnar, which that has also upset a lot of people, is why would two part-timers be the main event of WrestleMania for the title? I'm not opposed to it because you'll have to read my book later, Between Triple H for the Ultimate Control of Power, because I can actually explain why this is happening going back a couple years with Brock Lesnar. But in this match, I'm actually going to say that Kevin Owens is going to retain. I'm going to say somebody gets involved or something happens to make Goldberg lose it and allow Kevin Owens to sneak out the victor. Now, I threw out a joke with Kevin Owens saying he could burn his best friend Chris Jericho before the match. He thinks he has absolutely no help, but then Jericho could show up and save Kevin Owens in the ultimate ploy. And then eventually Sami Zayn could come back in, or Sami Zayn could make the save for Kevin Owens. I don't know. It's getting a little convoluted, but I just want best friends at WrestleMania. I think the 3 best friends, the video package alone would be phenomenal. But Goldberg, I think it was Kid Behind a Camera, Lyrical Rap on Twitter, who said it doesn't make sense for Goldberg and Kevin Owens to have a longer match because doesn't that make Brock look super weak? And I'm not going to disagree with that. I think that if this match were to happen and if it was to be short, somebody should interfere or cost him the match so Kevin Owens steals a victory. Whether the Authority gets involved to help Kevin Owens retain a lot of different things could happen, but I'm going to go out on a limb here and say Kevin Owens retains. Now, if Goldberg wins, I'm not against it because Goldberg coming back, the shape he's in, he does look good. I think he gets a great reaction from the crowd. Stealing it away from a guy like Kevin Owens would put more fuel under the fire for Kevin Owens, too. All year, he was in control. The Authority put him up. They fed him up. Chris Jericho was there at his side. But when push came to shove and nobody was there to back KO up, he couldn't do it. He can refocus again and figure out what it'll take to recapture that title. So those were my predictions for WWE Fast Lane. Let me know in the comment section below what you think is going to happen and who you think should win at the pay-per-view. I don't necessarily know if there's a right or wrong because for the first time, I'm actually very excited because anything could happen and matches could go in any different direction. That makes me pretty happy as a WWE and a writing fan. So I just want Fastlane to get over so we know what's going to happen in WrestleMania, but then I'll wrap it up for this video. Until next time, my name is Tubby Emu. By the way, still made this machinima. You should go check it out with John Cena. Big fan of it. Until next time, we will see you all later.